Just go in the middle of the road and whoop. And now we just wait for someone to walk through. Yeah, perfect. Wow, look at this. So cinematic. So it's gonna be great low light test right now. Let's see what we can do. Let's take a little portrait. Oh yeah, that looks good. All right, be careful. Good morning everyone and welcome to a new special episode. I just received something, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, and I'm super pumped because we're gonna go for a full camera test together. Sony just sent it to me and was like, here's a little budget and here's the phone, do what you want, enjoy, test the camera as much as you want. So we're here in Chicago and we have a 24mm with the new sensor. We've got awesome optical zoom, 85 to 125mm equivalent, and we've got the 16mm equivalent lens also. We also got something that just changed, which is the UI of the Photo Pro mode. I'll tell you a little more in a second because we gave them that feedback based on all the comments on the videos, your comments, and based also on my experience in the past, and they listened to it, they changed things, so it's gonna be exciting. We're going straight on the field. We're not gonna be taking photos in the parking lot or photos of apples. We're going to test this in Chicago, see how it performs. So if you're ready, let's go. All right, welcome to Chicago, guys. Okay, so to test this camera, I think we've got a lot of awesome stuff happening, and something fully new is the night mode on this Sony Xperia, which I kind of waited on, and I'm excited to test it. So we're gonna shoot a little bit in daytime and then we're gonna shoot into the sunset nighttime so we can test them all. But another thing, if you haven't noticed already, look at this interface, right? If you remember when we were horizontal back in the days with the Xperia, we always had this interface, right? But I actually talked to the Xperia team a bunch of times and I'm like, we need UI when we go vertical, and you guys said the same. So now we have the UI when we go vertical. So it's really awesome to be able to do that. Now we're gonna have that 85mm and that 125. Look at this. That way you can shoot just one little part in your photo, which can be always interesting. We'll try to get a few good ones over there. I think it's gonna look even better. And you can almost take photos of the moon now. Look at this. It's fun. And what I noticed, and something I always appreciate, and you can see it, is that I can check for every setting I want. So I have single shooting, I can go in continuous. If I go in JPEG, I have self timers. I have everything I have on my main camera, and also AFC, single shot, manual focus. Manual focus, who lets you do that? And the focus areas, you can go from point to wide. Next up, we also have all the white balance, the standard. We have face detection, and we're gonna have our night mode that we'll test in a few minutes. But honestly, this is what I love shooting with this, is also having that little shutter button right here, which allows you to have that experience of being like on a real camera. It gives you that experience when you're shooting that, hey, you're not just like taking photos, snapping photos with the phone, you're actually on a real creative session. And that's how I always felt with these, you know? So whenever I have a shutter in my hand, for some reason my brain just goes into photo mode and suddenly looks for different creative angles, versus the random cat shot that you're gonna grab. Suddenly your brain might be like, okay, can we do something a little bit different? Can we do something more? It's always, in my opinion, like nice to see that change, that switch in how we shoot and in our brain when we do that. This is why we love having long lenses on phone, honestly, because you're able to get those shots that you would never be able to get with a normal 24mm lens. Look at this, we get so much compression. I love that. Now 24 isn't bad either. Look at this. This is great if you want to like play with the shadows and the reflection a little bit on the buildings. Right now we have prime time to do that. Oh, this is cool. Okay, this shot at 16mm is going to be interesting, especially with the shadow that we have right now. It's always hard to decide exactly how much of that sun flare you want in here, but I think a little bit won't hurt our shot, just like that. And now we just wait for someone to walk through. Boom, boom. Yeah, perfect. Looks cool. Kind of like that. Wish the bus wasn't there, but kind of works still for this shot. So 16 is always a good lens for anything that's ultra wide, honestly. and I love using it. It's super fun. I mean, look at this. You come in a big city, you take a 16mm on the phone right there, and then anything that's architectural, you just shoot up a little bit and it looks great. Especially when you have a skateboard and you can literally just go up and shoot these like that. Look at this. There we go. Just like, that's what I love with the phone. I always can see really well what I'm shooting. It just gives you really nice definition. Let's see a little bit how the dynamic range is doing here with this, because we've got so much light coming in, and it's fairly interesting to see that we're gonna have a lot of shadows. There's gonna be direct light. So how is that gonna perform? And something to know is that in basic mode, you're gonna access all the HDR functions, and you can see how it's like fully changing right now. But if I go back in Photo Pro mode, then I'll be able to control a lot more what I want to be having the most impact in the shot. Like, do I want shadows? Do I want to lift the shadows? Do I want to keep the darkness? And in that shot, personally, I prefer to have the contrast, because I love this little lines with the specks of light. I think it looks really awesome. Woo. Okay, this is one of my favorite things to do with the phone. You can literally go against the windows and get the full reflection right there. I put the phone upside down to have the lens as close as possible. Always gives you a nice reflection shot. There you go. Boom. That's epic. I love that. Here we go. Okay, this is the test. Just go in the middle of the road and woo! And I think it's always a good test for me, because it allows me to see how it performs even when we're moving, meaning like how well stabilized is the image when I'm shooting. And what's interesting in that condition is that we have all those little like stars from shooting at 85mm. So we're at 85mm and it's actually sharp, so it's awesome while I was moving. Okay, so I'm gonna go in shutter speed priority, 1/4000 of a second, and let's see what we can do here with the pigeons in burst mode. Let's see if there's anything to do. I mean, honestly, it's super sharp. That's kind of awesome. I love seeing that. For this shot, we're gonna go like full basic to get a lot of dynamic range and see how it's gonna, whoops, how it's gonna look, because yeah. Oh wow, this cloud is so interesting in the background. Look at that, it recovered so well. I love this shot. It's so fun. Depending on the season, you get completely different vibes. Wow, that is quite something. That's like impossible to do with a normal camera. It's like shooting like straight down from this kind of angle. It's always like a huge pain, but once you have a little phone like that with all the goodies in there, you can do it. And look at that, you get the shots that you want. Oh, I love that. It's so funny, there's a double shadow because it's reflecting. Look on the floor, look on the floor. It's awesome. Woo. All right, just found a friend right here with this really nice background. Let's take a little portrait. Joe, you looking good?
Where should I look? Which direction?
Yeah, look a little bit this way towards the sun. Yeah, there we go. That way with the sparkly eyes. Beautiful, nice. Love that. Yeah, beautiful. Best day of your life?
Oh yeah, I like having sparkly eyes.
I'm gonna go in P mode. Drop a little bit the exposure. There you go. Nice. You're looking good, sir. There you go. And then yeah, the skin tones are definitely accurate, which is a good sign. Whew. We're hitting low light and I found this really cool spot right now. So we're gonna try with a new sensor on the 24mm, see what it has in the belly for low light. And I'm kind of hoping for my night function shooting also to kick in very soon. It's gonna be very interesting to check out how it's gonna handle it. Wow, look at this, so cinematic. I love that. want to kind of get that cityscape right there with the light. Looks really cool. We're gonna try to go in full auto, see how it looks. And nice. You see we've got like really cool reflection happening. And I think, ooh, this is a shot we should try right now with the basic mode and go into, by the way, I'm like kind of curious. Oh, that looks good with a little bit of HDR right there. And I'm gonna try to go a little bit further. Just getting the skyline like that is always also a pretty minimalist, interesting shot in my opinion. Just like this, boom. This is a fully zoomed in shot and it's pretty dark and the camera actually makes it look really sharp. So the computing that I've been adding to it definitely looks good, so that's a really good point. We're gonna see if we can get the night mode to kick in a little bit. I think it's gonna be fairly interesting to see how it operates, and it seems like, hey, looks super clean. There you go. Let's see if we get anything here. Hey, this looks good. Oh, I'm excited. I'm gonna take a few more. There we go. Now in 16 it's gonna kick in the night mode. There we go. Oh look, we've got some duckies. That's neat. Woo! Alright guys, we've got a really cool scene with this car in front. Looks kind of retro. So it's gonna be great low light test right now. Let's see what we can do right here. Gonna try. Oh yeah, it definitely kicks in some night shooting functions here, and I love. So apparently with a new sensor you get better low light capability. Let's try to see what we can do here. So get the car in the foreground, some reflection right here. Look at this. This looks epic. Oh, there we go. So the night mode is like definitely kicking in here, but I love that with this 24mm new sensor also you also get better low light capabilities overall. Apparently the way that it's constructed helps make it a little better, so that's really cool. Look at this. This looks so cool. Boom. And it's crazy the amount of light I'm getting in those shots, honestly, and it looks super clean. When I look at it, it's pretty awesome. I'm always impressed. Woo! What a day, what a shoot. There is a lot to be said. Okay, to recap, we've got 3 cameras, 16, 24, and 85 to 125mm different lenses, and I absolutely love that diversity of lenses when I'm shooting. One of my favorite things on this camera, because I kind of call it a camera, is the little shutter button. I find it very intuitive. I found that it gives you the same feel as being on my main camera, which is something that I personally look for when I'm having a camera that I can carry with me every day. You know, it's kind of always important. On top of using the Photo Pro, which is great to be able to switch from a basic camera for your everyday stuff to a Photo Pro mode, where I'm gonna start to think like a photographer, meaning how I compose my shot, how I interact, how I'm gonna find the light, etc. And every time I have this little shutter button and I'm in the Photo Pro mode, I definitely feel more that I'm shooting with a real camera than with a phone. And that little twitch, in my opinion, as a creator, is important. Another cool feature was the natural skin tones when you're taking portraits, which allows to basically get the right color on the faces of people. And I will be testing that feature personally a little more in depth, maybe even at night, because I've seen some pretty impressive photos done with that. I will say there's also creative looks if you don't want to edit your photos, etc. Everything you saw was shot in RAW, part shot in JPEG, but also edited with my presets. You can actually use the creative looks that are directly out of camera that might be closer to what you want. And last but not least, a feature that was really requested for the Xperia was the night mode. Having the night mode for me was crucial. I really wanted to be able to take photos at night, even in basic camera, without having to make it a long exposure. So it's computational photography that allows you to take night photos, even handheld. Another really cool aspect is the Video Pro mode. We now have S-Cinetone available, which I personally love and use. And we also have 4K 120 frames per second, and you can see a few clips. Honestly, it looks beautiful, and that was also in S-Cinetone. And I'm pretty impressed by the camera overall. There is one cool feature also that I haven't mentioned before. It's an external monitor. I'm able to plug directly into my Sony Alpha camera this phone in order to use it as an external monitor, and you have different display modes where you can have false colors. You can actually record nowadays in the phone and in the camera. Honestly, just watching anything on the big screen here just makes it better to shoot. You know that if you're a videographer. So this phone for me is really a phone that's based for creators, for people who will be taking a lot of photos, who will need to integrate that with their workflow for the video, who want to use those tools that really allow to bridge the gap between the camera and the phone, and have all that in that small compact package is pretty impressive in my opinion. Now I kind of want to hear what you guys think, because all your comments are always helpful. Sony listened to the previous comments about the UI being horizontal, and they made it available also vertical. So I think it's really cool. So what do you think? And thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you watching. Thank you also Sony for making this happen. And remember, everyone, get out there, go shoot, try something different, try something new, because this is how we get our creativity flowing. Now, have a beautiful day. I'll see you in the next one.